Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing today? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is $3 Theater, and today is April 20th. It's 4/20, which means that it's not necessarily the best day to be on the road, but with this nationwide shutdown, and I mean, hell, unless you're in Florida or Georgia, where things might be opening up sooner rather than later, especially movie theaters are supposedly opening up this Friday in Georgia. You might be able to go out and enjoy it if you are completely okay with risking your entire life on seeing Trolls 2 or whatever movie theaters are going to offer, if at all anything. In fact, this last weekend, the only box office that was reported in the entire country was one drive-in in Florida. That's right, the last drive-in. That is the one. That is where we all have to flock to. Given my drive-in history, the fact that I worked at one in San Diego for 10 years means I must now move to Central Florida to this one location so I can best offer my services to get us through this pandemic and entertain the masses. Think of me like the Majestic, but in Florida. There's that right there. Anyway, so we got a lot to cover today on the show. Clearly, there's a lot going on. We have some Batman news to cover. We're going to be talking about some Mandalorian stuff because that's in the news for not necessarily the reasons why you might be thinking. But there's a lot of good stuff to talk about today. So I figured we would dive right in, and then we will take some phone calls. So we'll do the news first, and then we'll take some calls. So get ready for that one. Get ready to talk about the news of the day, and we'll be on that one here in a minute. Obviously, I just like this thumbnail because I think it's pretty cool. But anyway, let's start off with the Mandalorian. Let's start off with this new thing that popped up today. I haven't seen it yet, so I have no idea if it's any good. But this has been making the rounds. Everyone's been talking about it. People have been absolutely freaking out over it, claiming that this is so bad that it destroys IGN's credibility, says one Tampa, Florida resident who is now the equivalent of old man yells at clouds. So why don't we find out what exactly this is? Let's find out precisely how crazy The Mandalorian is, whatever this trailer is from IGN. Let me just make sure that the visual settings are the best it can possibly be, because we don't want to go any of that 240p cut. We're not watching trailers tonight. So let's see how this is. Let's see what's going on with this.
You have something I want.
Is it Mando Season 2? Because
You may think you have some idea of what you are in possession of, but you do not.
That's great.
Are you ready for round 2?
This is pretty cool.
We need to talk. Things have gotten out of hand, and I can't clean up the mess for you. It's time for you to take control of your own destiny. You can't stay with me anymore. And I don't know how many times I've told you not to smoke in the Razor Crest. Are you paying attention?
Lone Wolf and Cub, that's
Don't
great.
even think about it.
My real father is a not.
You're lucky I'm out of carbonite.
Oh, that's funny. That is funny. That is great. Whoever thought of that was damn fantastic. That was amazing. I loved it. That was awesome. You gotta give it credit when it's something that's actually funny. Like the very first Collider deep fake with Lucas doing the reaction to the Mandalorian trailer. That was, or no, I think that was Rise of Skywalker trailer. That was good. This is also really, 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 really funny, which is why, again, I just have to bring this up. So look, Andy and I, we ain't on talking terms anymore. It's a whole thing. But this, I forgot to unsub from his channel today, and this popped up, and I tuned in for like half a second, and I skipped around, and he is literally old man yelling at clouds about IGN losing all credibility for running this spoof on 420. I mean, look, I get it. Andy's at this point now where he feels the only way he can obtain any kind of actual core relevancy is to be as much of a curmudgeon as humanly possible, to pick fights across the board with almost every fandom that he can think of, because other than that, he's got nothing. I get it. But this is one of the stupidest takes I've seen, and I just want to quickly point and laugh at it. So, hey, Andy, this is dumb. Stop being dumb. Get back to the good content and stop whatever the hell it is you're on right now, because you're just screwing everything up. So there is that. There's definitely that. So now the other thing I want to touch upon here is definitely the news involving Warner Brothers and shifting their release dates. We've been hearing about this all day today. A lot of people are upset, and I understand it. I get why. They're totally upset at this because they want there to be, they want more movies. They're kind of like, I think at this point, some of them are kind of getting a little antsy. There's not a lot going on. They can't go to the movies and they kind of miss it. So they want to get back to it. And obviously they want movies that they're excited for to come out sooner rather than later. And so this, of course, is now we're in the phase of shifting everything around. So it says here, this is coming in from flickeringmyth.com. Warner Brothers shifts release dates for The Batman, The Flash, and Shazam 2, obviously. This is just they once one thing moves, basically everything else has to shift due to the delicate balance that is the Hollywood and their release dates. So let's find out more. All right, so The Batman, starring Robert Pattinson and directed by Matt Reeves, was originally slated to release July 25th, 2021, but it is now coming October 1st, which is fine with me. It's only a few months. It's literally only 3 months. Not even that, if you think about it, right? It's instead of coming out at the end of, it's 3 months, yeah. I thought it was July, so it's June 25th, my mistake. But look, if this Batman movie is rumored, heavily rumored, speculated through We Got This Covered, that it's going to be ultimately pulling from The Long Night. It's going to be that big thing. It's going to be pulling from The Long Night. The Long Halloween. That's what I want to say. The Long Halloween. So why not release it closer to Halloween? I feel like a Batman movie coming out around Halloween is going to be something good. And with the success of Joker in early October, as well as even Venom in early October, even though that's a totally different, company, we can kind of see some of these darker comic book movies doing well in the first week of October. So, hey, why not run with it? The last week of June is right before the July 4th weekend. That is going to be a big release week for something else coming down the pipeline. I think that's actually right before the release of Spider-Man Far From Home 3, or whatever the hell they're going to call it. And so, get out of the way. Move to a time when you've got room. You got room to breathe. You got room to collect that dough. And in this case, they have more room to finish production. So they don't have to rush anything. Because Warner's, when they rush, it's never good. Now, they've also shuffled around some release dates for The Flash here, moving from August 1st, 2022 to June 3rd, 2022. So they're moving that up. I still don't think it's going to happen. I just don't think I'm not going to believe the Flash movie exists until I see the first trailer, to be honest with you, or at least behind the scenes stuff. And Shazam is moving from April 1st, 2022 to November 4th, 2022. And I do think that is going to be something that is going to work out well for Shazam. Shazam did really good for its release date last year because it came out in between Captain Marvel and Endgame. It was that comic book movie in between, and I don't think that was the best time to release the movie. I really don't. I feel Warner Brothers was hoping that in that 6-week gap in between Captain Marvel and Endgame, they could find a nice little niche for themselves. Truth of the matter is they didn't. The movie still did okay, but it could have done better if it wasn't in that trajectory. If everyone was only talking about Endgame, no one's caring about a much superior movie to Captain Marvel. Not to say Captain Marvel is the worst movie ever. Okay, I know. I criticize Captain Marvel. People come out and get mad at me like, oh, you just bashed on the movie. No. Look, it was a pointless movie. I don't think it was that good. Shazam was way better, but I can still acknowledge that there was success. Over $1.1 billion worth of success. I just would like to see those numbers flipped where Captain Marvel made less money, Shazam made more, because I feel like David F. Sandberg actually gave a crap about character development in that movie. And yeah, that's my complaint on that one. But anyway, Aquaman 2 is still slated for December 16th, 2022, and yet there's no word as to whether the date will be impacted. Here's the thing with that, though. they're not going to move Aquaman 2 from that day. 100% they're not going to move Aquaman 2. I'll tell you why. Star Wars. The Star Wars movie comes out like, I think 2 weeks later, right around that same time. They're going to want to come out and get 2 weeks lead-in time to Star Wars. They're not going to want to sit there and come out and have it be any other time. They want the lead-in time for Star Wars. So that's what they're going to do. It's not going to be like Jumanji, where Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle opened a week after The Last Jedi and was able to ride the wave of being a better movie than The Last Jedi. Whereas The Next Level opened a week before The Rise of Skywalker and ultimately ended up coming up $300 million short that compared to its predecessor. So yeah, release dates matter. You want to give enough ample room for these movies to do well. Again, I'll give you a very quick one. November 2001, right? So like almost 19 years ago, Monsters, Inc. actually moved itself forward by a whole week in order to have 2 weeks before the release of the first Harry Potter, realizing that they did not want to get caught in the groundswell that was going to be the opening of the Harry Potter franchise. They said, let's pull it forward. We're going to move it up by 2 weeks or by a week or something in order to not compete directly with that movie. And it was a very, very, very good call. Both movies did exceptionally well, and both movies still hold up. Hell, I just watched Monsters, Inc. yesterday for about like the 10th time this last month, I think. Now, anyway, that's what it gives us here for these dates. I know they've also moved around some other movies as well, but quite frankly, no one's really caring about the other movies that are being moved around at the moment. What people are caring about flat out are just these movies. And I do think that Warner's is making the right call with everything right now shifting. That's not only going to shift whatever big tentpole films that they've got, but all the other movies that they have that are going to be coming out. Everything's going to be shifted, delayed by a few months. And here's the thing. If they get a few more months to get it right, to tweak it out, then it doesn't come across as rushed, and we don't get ultimately like a Justice League situation or even a Rise of Skywalker situation where hitting that predetermined release date, even though they have a couple years to get there, still feels rushed because Warner's or Disney are trying to, make as much money as they possibly can in that time period. Because this is how it's such a weird place to be honest with you, to watch these companies do all this kind of stuff. So, okay, I also want to jump over here, talk more about some Star Wars stuff here. So this is something that's trending on Twitter right now. And that, of course, is the Adam Driver is over party. This is hashtag Adam Driver is over party. It is currently trending on Twitter. We can see here with like about 11,700 tweets. And what people are mad about is this interview right here that he had with the New Yorker when talking about his history. Says here, after 9/11, he found himself with a desire for retribution, although he wasn't sure against what or whom. It wasn't against Muslims, he said. It was, we were attacked. I wanted to fight for my country against whoever that is. His stepfather, a Baptist minister, gave him a brochure for the Marines, which he'd thrown in the trash, but now he reconsidered. He craved a physical challenge, and the Marines were tough. They kind of got me with their whole, we don't give you signing bonuses. We're the hardest branch of the armed forces. You're not going to get all this cushy shit with the Navy or the Army that they give you. And that's one of the things that, people are getting on him for, because he wanted to join. He joined the military after 9/11. He's been open about this. He's been very open about this. He joined after 9/11 in order to fight back against everything that had happened. The 2,997 people who died in 9/11, he wanted retribution. He wanted to fight. And that is a very patriotic and natural reaction to that. Like when 9/11 first happened, when the towers fell, I was actually going to school that day, and my buddy and I were talking about it. We were both 19, and we're like, man, are they going to reinstitute a draft? All I was thinking about was like, holy crap, we're going to war, and I might get drafted. That's what I was thinking about. So like, Adam had a different approach to it, where he was like, I need to do something, and I was all like, don't call on me. I'm clearly a lover, not a fighter. But we have different journeys on that front. So 100%. But no, people are mad at him for this. People on Twitter are mad at him for this. They want to cancel Adam Driver for it, which I think is absolutely stupid and ridiculous. But apparently he's got a little bit of fans coming on into the works here. So according to comicbook.com, which put this one together, they say here, Star Wars fans defend Adam Driver after Twitter tries to call him out. You're calling out a guy for patriotism which is really weird to me that we live in that world. The people who are mad at this, the people who are probably the most freaked out about this or that are upset are the ones who most likely did not grow up in a pre 9/11 world. I think about it. We're coming up on 19 years, right? Or 18 years. No, 19 years this fall, 19 years, man. So people who are like under the age of 18, they grew up in a post 9/11 world. They didn't grow up the way we grew up. They didn't grow up like that. They grew up totally different. So it does make a lot of sense. Anyway, some people here are saying, to defend him, says Adam Driver made a movie exposing the torture of CIA following 9/11. Go watch that instead of bitching on Twitter because you're bored. Amen. This person here says logs on, sees Adam Driver as over party trending because he joined the military nearly 20 years ago and believed he was fighting terrorism, and idiots reached into the sun to extrapolate that he actually hates brown people, and that's the real reason. I don't want to be too fair, but this is the reality of Twitter. The reality of Twitter simply is this. Morons are going to moron 100%. Like morons are going to freaking moron. They take every little thing and they try to twist it and spin it. If you've ever spent any time diving into like YouTube commentary channels or YouTube drama channels, you know precisely how this game is played. It's just magnified through Twitter, which is, I would argue, probably the worst website on the planet, but you guys should totally follow me at mjarbo. I tweet a lot about movies and some politics. Price of Reason here says, Adam Driver wanted to join the Marines after 9/11 so he could fight for his country. Now a bunch of fart sniffers on Twitter want to cancel him. I couldn't make this stuff up. 100%. And more people are just defending him. Hope Solo here says, anyway, who's the dumbass who thought this was a good idea? Adam Driver is over party. Y'all make me want to puke. And I can't agree more on that front. There's no reason to be mad at Adam Driver for literally having this opinion. Saying, look, I wanted to fight. I wanted to fight for my country. I wanted to fight for everything. I wanted to fight for us. I wanted to get revenge. I wanted to get retribution. I wanted to get all these damn things. And it's ridiculous because they want to cancel a guy who literally fought for our country. He fought for our country. And not only that, Adam Driver has an excellent TED Talk where he talked about how he got into drama. And one thing that he does do that doesn't get brought up a lot is he actually does a USO show for the troops. And he very much, for Marines, for troops, for veterans, he wants to make sure that they're entertained, that can take their mind off of where they are and the stress that they're under. And he actually cares a great deal about this. So Adam Driver should not be getting canceled over Twitter. They should be fundamentally unzipping his fly, unleashing the dragon, and then just, taking it in. Because that's what at this point, the dude is not only a hero in that regard of being a veteran and fighting for the country. He's very patriotic, but he gives back and he gives to other people and he gives to all these things. So unfortunately, we're living in a world right now where all of these people are they're so dumb. They're so caught up in their own nonsense, their own BS, their own crap, that this is where we just find ourselves. So that is quite unfortunate. So we're going to get to the last story here. And then I'm going to, here is the StreamYard link. You guys can come on in the backstage. And then when I get done with this next one, we will go from there and we will bring on a person at a time and talk about today's events, today's stories, what's going on, your thoughts about today. And then maybe if we have time, something else. So I want to make that abundantly clear. So finally today, this is what's been going on because it's more drama, more nonsense, more stupid stuff, right? Apparently David Ayer has now apologized for the portrayal of Harley Quinn in Suicide Squad because a lot of people were really upset at this. Apparently, it's a 4-year-old movie almost. Harley Quinn's portrayal, very much in my mind in line with like how Tara Strong performed the character for over many years on the animated show as well as the video games. That hypersexualized character that knows she's sexual. If you go and you watch the Assault on Arkham animated movie, her and Deadshot hook up, and there's literally a joke about Harley Quinn having an orgasm, where she, yells out Yahtzee, and that's to indicate that, there was a little bit of brown chicken, brown cow that ending with everyone getting their fortune cookies, which is good. Yes, that's how you should be approaching life in these situations, is to 100% go on in and do that. But anyway, Ayer gets a lot of crap for Suicide Squad, a movie that is fundamentally attacked for probably the stupidest damn reasons. I actually liked it quite a bit. So this is what's going on here. It says that Suicide Squad director David Ayer appears to have apologized after receiving criticism for his take on Harley Quinn. The director recently came under fire for his sexualized portrayal of the DC character in this movie and responded by saying the character's arc was eviscerated in the recent spin-off movie Birds of Prey, which I would agree with. It's kind of like, look at Superman in Man of Steel and BVS and Justice League. There was an arc across the movies, which ended in Justice League of him kind of becoming Boy Scout Superman, which is what a lot of fans wanted. So the evolution of characters over the process of several films is what we call character development. It's what we call good storytelling, and it's called part of an evolving, interconnected, expanded universe, which is what fans want. But of course, again, this is Twitter during a global pandemic. People are home. People are doing whatever. It's just so damn annoying. But anyway, Ayer also suggested that everything is political now, though another fan has since criticized that point, noting that a female character in an abusive relationship is already political. But it's been this particular relationship has been around for quite some time. Everyone knows it's abusive. Harley Quinn wanting emancipation and getting away from that is clearly the good thing here. And all things considered, Birds of Prey handled it terribly. They really did. They spent more time focused on a goddamn egg sandwich than actually about Harley Quinn becoming a better character overall. It was really poorly paced, really poorly done. Just not that good of a movie. But in the Harley Quinn animated show, by the way, currently in the second season on DC Universe, which you should all be watching 100%, it was, they've handled that evolution and that change awesomely. Now, granted, a TV show versus a movie are two different things, but we're also talking live action portrayal versus animated. Margot Robbie, I think like Academy Award nominated. If not, did she win? I don't know if she won, but I know she definitely was nominated, I believe. Or she's been in Academy Award winning films. I think we all can agree on. Even Suicide Squad won the Academy Award for Best Costume back in 2017. So you've got that. And then Kaylee Cuoco from Big Bang Theory. Penny from Big Bang Theory is voicing Harley Quinn in the animated show, and she does an amazing job. Now, it says here, this is what he says. Someone said, Harley was sexualized the entire Suicide Squad movie, and in Birds of Prey, she was a real character, not eye candy. And Ayer here says, sadly, her arc was eviscerated. It was her movie in so many ways. Look, I tried. I rendered Harley comic book accurate. Everything is political now. Everything. I just want to entertain. I will do better. He's got nothing to apologize for. Harley Quinn was one of the most entertaining aspects of Suicide Squad. She really was. She was comic book accurate. They made her voice her dialogue and having the accent. She played up the character. She played up the daddy's little monster bit. It was that kind of mentality that really sold it. This is why women returned time and time and time again to see Harley Quinn. There was a lot of women that kept going. That movie did $796 million or 776, somewhere in the high 700s. For its release. Birds of Prey, she was out of her voice like most of the movie. She would go on these long rambling monologues and she would lose that voice. And the movie had no structure. It had no purpose. It had nothing. And so, her arc was eviscerated in Birds of Prey because there wasn't much of an arc. Christina Hansen wrote a bad script. Kathy Yan directed a mediocre movie, and they needed the director of John Wick to come on in and spice it up a little bit, right? To spice it up. And they did a good job with the action. Someone else here says, the way your camera looked at her was political. The way you used her was political. You treated her as an object, and she still rose above it. That was political too. Again, they're so desperate to grab at anything that they can. But Ayer here should not have apologized. Says here that he admitted retweeting because this is very thoughtfully written. Thank you for this. I'm growing and learning in a changing world. Look, man, we're talking about comic books here. All right. Comic book representation is a lot like the Olympic Village, right? So you have the Olympics every couple of years. These athletes in their top physical form attend this event to represent their country, to represent their craft, their sport, whatever. And a lot of them, then they fuck. They do. They have sex. Like Olympic Village is very much, bow, chicka, bow, bow, right? A lot of that going on. A lot of condoms. You read reports about this too. The reason why I'm making this comparison is because when you look at comic book characters that are in their peak physical form, in height of adrenaline all the time, they are also realistically going to bang, and they're going to look good. and they're going to want to bang each other because they all look good. Right? It's a lot of that high energy, that high octane energy. Your endorphins are rushing because of the adrenaline in your system. And so what happens after those moments, you get down, you bump pelvises. I mean, you grind them to dust is what I'm talking about here. So really there's nothing to apologize for. People who are upset about our portrayal in Suicide Squad, watch Birds of Prey, and the portrayal you get in Birds of Prey is just not very good. And I'm not talking about the sexualized stuff here. It wasn't a good portrayal because it wasn't comic accurate. It wasn't like Harley Quinn in the animated show, comic accurate, that kind of zany behavior. This one was just Margot Robbie trying so hard and an inexperienced director trying to get that performance out of her, right? It just, never mind the whole scene where they like completely humiliate that woman that had no purpose. Even my girlfriend is watching that movie with me. She's like, what's going on with the scene? It does literally, it does nothing. Anyway, look here. Okay. While largely received with critics, unlike Suicide Squad, Birds of Prey underperformed, taking in $33 million in its opening weekend. Suicide Squad made $133 million in its opening weekend. So is there even any kind of comparison there? Right? I mean, like, you can look at the amount of money that they had made, right? You cannot blame Suicide Squad for Birds of Prey because Warner Brothers listened to Margot Robbie. They put her front and center as a producer on Birds of Prey. It was her movie. Her production company, I think, handled it. Like, she helped pick the director and pick the cast. There's a reason why they didn't do Gotham City Sirens. They did Birds of Prey, and that had everything to do with Margot Robbie reading DC Comics and going, I want to bring these other women in and then do a movie about them, but give them no character development. Birds of Prey was a mishmash movie that is an unmitigated failure for storytelling. And even though Kathy Ann wants to argue undue expectations, David Ayer had 6 weeks to write the script. 6 weeks, mind you, to write the script before going into production. And that movie turned out relatively well for 6 weeks of screenwriting. They had how many years to do this? How many years to get the script done? How many years to make Birds of Prey? A lot of time to do it. So I don't want to hear any of this, these weirdos on Twitter that don't know their head from literally their pee hole talking about this subject, of which you can tell fundamentally, wholeheartedly, they have absolutely no idea what they're referring to at all, 100%. Anyway, so there's that. All right. So, all right, that's all the stories I got for right now. And I don't see anyone in the backstage. You guys can come on, by the way. I'll post that here again. You guys can come on. So, anyway, let's we'll wait a second here. I'll take a look at the questions here. Safety Zoom says Margot Robbie was given too much power to manipulate Birds of Prey. She more or less handpicked that director. Yeah, no, that's basically what I just said, and I completely agree. She had all the power in the world. And there was no overarching producer because, hey, was it DC brought in Walter Hamada to oversee the DC film, all that stuff. And they still, they don't know. The right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing. They don't have a Zack Snyder. They ultimately need a Zack Snyder, unfortunately here. So let me take a quick look here. I'm just kind of running through. Okay, so... All right. Limo here says, hi, Matt, what's your favorite Harry Potter movie and what's your thoughts on Fantastic Beasts 3, 4, 5? I did see the question in the Discord. I do appreciate that. I don't quite know. It's not that I don't have an opinion, but it's like we don't know the story of 3, 4, or 5. So I'll talk about that. But let me say my favorite Harry Potter movie is probably the first one. And I say that because the first one felt most book accurate. The first two felt very book accurate, minus a couple things here and there, a couple changes that I felt like were necessary at the time. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, while probably being the best made of the films, deviated 100% from, not 100%, but deviated so much from the source material. I mean, I honestly don't even get like how that made it past J.K. Rowling, or Rowling, however the hell you pronounce her name. I don't even know. I don't get that. I mean, same with Goblet of Fire. There's like, Goblet of Fire should have ended on a cliffhanger, right? Like, and I mean this literally. If you read the book, and I'm not going to be spoilers here, but if you read the book, at the end of Goblet of Fire, you find out that Snape has left Hogwarts to go and reunite with the Death Eaters, but Snape is actually a double agent working for Dumbledore. He is now balls deep in it. He's going to go up against Voldemort. He's going to get information back to Dumbledore, and that's where the book ends. It sets up this massive, massive, massive thing, and then from there, it just doesn't do it. It doesn't pick up that thread. Then you get to the Half-Blood Prince, where again, Snape is really kind of like a badass character throughout the entire series. But at the end of the Half-Blood Prince, you find out, like, Snape kills Dumbledore, page 606. But, then Hogwarts erupts in battle. And I love that in the book from page 606 to the end. It was like nonstop action. Hogwarts is literally a fucking battlefield. And I loved it in the book. In the movie, it's like, yeah, Snape kills Dumbledore. There's a couple things here and there. Bellatrix Lestrange is bouncing around the Great Hall. Like, I killed Sirius Black. Like, okay, yeah, we got that in the last movie. All right, we got that in the last movie. We know Sirius Black died in Order of the Phoenix. We were all there for it. You don't need to reiterate this shit, And then from there, they that reveal of who the Half-Blood Prince was in the book was iconic. It was very iconic. It was, Snape like, I am the Half-Blood Prince. Like, oh my God, holy shit. It was a big reveal. The movie was just like lame as fuck. They downplayed that reveal. The movie's called Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, and they downplayed it. They downplayed it for that. They totally did. They did that. And it was really bad. But the reason why they did it was because they wanted to set up the Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Part 2. They did it so to act as a cliffhanger to set up the next movie, the final two films. And I get that. You can totally see that's what they were doing. They were building that up. But there wasn't even, like, if I recall, and I could be wrong, there wasn't even the funeral scene. Dumbledore didn't even get a funeral scene. The funeral scene at the end of Half-Blood Prince was great. It was like a Who Is Who, a cameo for Hogwarts and shit. It was a whole bunch of characters that popped up in that damn thing, but they cut that part out. And because at the end of that, it was like Harry, like, okay, we have to go stop Voldemort now. We got to go get the Horcruxes. We got to take this motherfucker out. They're getting all hardcore about it. And you're like, you're reading the book going like, yeah, fuck him up, kid. Fuck him up. Like, that's what you wanted out of that. And unfortunately, they totally blew the whole goddamn thing. I enjoyed the Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Part 2. I feel that was a book that did need to have two parts. One of the only young adult novels that I feel needed to be in two parts. Hunger Games didn't need to be in two parts. Breaking Dawn didn't need to be in two parts. None of that stuff needed to be in two parts. Hold on real quick. Angry for, you don't have to be cameraman. You can just do audio only. Like, I'll tell you what, I'll drop the goddamn number if you guys aren't gonna do this. Anyway. And so, looking at everything with, let's say, fucking the Fantastic Beasts movies, there's a fair amount of issues there. There really, really, really are a fair amount of issues on that. For one, it's not horrible. I did feel that the Fantastic Beasts 2 was better than the first one. The first movie just was like, why did you let J.K. Rowling write this? Why did you let any of this happen? Like, you should have come on in and totally, had someone punch up the script 100%, and they didn't do it. And it was kind of like this movie where you're watching it going like, I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know. Am I supposed to care about these characters? Like, who gives a crap? Yada, 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 yada. And then from there, it's just like, okay, well, let's go to the next movie. At least that's going to have Johnny Depp as Grindelwald. That's pretty cool. I'll take that. And then, then there was all that Johnny Depp controversy surrounding it. But I will say this though, look, you can bitch about Johnny Depp all you want. When they showed Johnny Depp at the end of Part 2, The Crimes of Grindelwald, and he's addressing, like the pre-Death Eaters, whatever his group is called, that was some good acting on Depp's part. They shot that real well. They shot it like a goddamn Tony Robbins motivational speaker tour, and I loved it. I loved that they shot it like he was working a stage going like, you're going to be immortal, and you're going to be immortal, and you're going to be immortal. We're all going to be immortal if we kill the goddamn fucking muggles. And I thought that worked out really well. And then, of course, everything with Queenie at the end of the movie, there's a cliffhanger there. I want to see what happens. But the problem with Fantastic Beasts going forward, for one, is Credence cut that dude out. Like, that whole Dumbledore reveal at the end was super, super stupid. So stupid. Shouldn't have happened. They got to retcon that shit, like 100%. Ditch Credence. Focus on Wizard Hitler, which is kind of funny because if you look at The Crimes of Grindelwald. I kind of feel like they're in one of those Austrian castles that, that Hitler had from World War II, even though this happened before Hitler. Oh my God, what if they reference Hitler? What if Grindelwald helps Hitler get into power? Dude, that'd be fucking dope. That would be pretty cool. I'd be okay with that one. Ryan here says not all novelists are screenwriters and not all screenwriters are novelists. That's why I completely agree with that. So yeah, I've been a fan of Harry Potter movies for a long goddamn time, for a very long goddamn time. Okay, here's what we are going to do. We are going to open up the phone line because for some reason I know you guys want to call in, but for some reason you guys are just not wanting to actually go in the stream share. So we will set up this thing, which allows me to take your calls and drop out the number. There we go. So there's the number on the screen. Feel free to give a call. We'll go for about maybe another 20 minutes. I don't want to go too long tonight, but we'll do that way. And so I really do like the Harry Potter franchise. I really want to see what Harry Potter is able to accomplish going forward into the future. But I do think that the Fantastic Beasts franchise is not going to make it to 5 movies. I just don't see it happening. I really just don't see it happening. At this point now, Newt Scamander is not even the main character. Jude Law as Dumbledore is going to be the main character, and then going up against Grindelwald is going to be great. And this Amber Heard situation that was kind of looming over Johnny Depp's head seems to be working in his favor. Although Warner Brothers, I think at this point, is going to be like, let's just avoid it completely. Let's just make sure like it doesn't happen. We're going to do that. So I think on that front we'll be okay. And in the meantime, as fans, we're just going to have to wait. But at least with HBO Max coming here in the next couple weeks, all the Harry Potter movies should be on there. So we can at least watch those. And I think that's going to be pretty good. Let's see here. All right. Lemon says here, I agree. I love a first Wizarding War prequel with the Order of the Phoenix, Regulus Black, Marauders, and Voldemort Rides to Power. That'd be kind of cool. And I do think that's eventually going to happen. Like we're going to have a series like that leads into, Harry Potter. They're going to do like a Lily and James movie or some shit like that. Matt here says Batman being pushed to October is better release date, fits Batman style. Yeah, I was talking about that a little bit ago. If it's the rumor is accurate that there is the long Halloween, then that would be a lot of fun. So I think that's going to be pretty good. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see here. Sky asks, do you like Popeye the Sailor? Yeah, I like Popeye the Sailor, man. I always have. I grew up watching the cartoon, and I grew up, I've seen the movie a bunch with Robin Williams. Who was it, who did the animation? I forget the name, like Offski or something, right? It's, I can never pronounce it, so I never remember it. The guy who did the Clone Wars, little short films. And I think he also did Samurai Jack, right? That guy. I saw his camera test or his animation test for Popeye, and it looked fantastic. So there's that. Let's see, which is a better villain, Grindelwald or Voldemort? I'm gonna have to go with definitely, Grindelwald right now. I don't feel like Voldemort was ever threatening. I just never really felt that. And it might be because I read the books and like he was way more threatening in the books but they also never showed him being a full on villain until towards, I think it was book 6 is when he finally was able to take human form or something. He was always around, but he was always in the shadows. I mean, like literally in the first movie in that dude's head, and it just kind of felt like we don't see a lot of him like that. But in Fantastic Beasts 1 and 2, we got Grindelwald, and I think Grindelwald is a better character overall. It was Jendi Tarkovsky. I'm gonna totally fuck that one up. Let's see here. Grindelwald's better because he has reasons for it, just like Thanos. Voldy was just evil. Yeah, Tom Riddle was just a bitch. Let's just be fair, man. Tom Riddle was just a kid who got tired of being called a bitch and ended up bitching the bitch out. That's what happened here. Let's see. Grindelwald is more powerful in the books versus Voldemort. Yeah, that would make sense too. There's a lot going on with that. He was wasn't he an inspiration for Voldemort as well? That's what if they were going to do like a Voldemort movie or series, I think I'd watch that. Give me a reason to care about the character, but he was a pure evil dude. Like I care more about Grindelwald because he's got those ideals, you know. He got that. I care. I don't want to say I agree with them because I don't agree with them, but you can see his motivations are there. His motivations are flat out. Yeah, let's take out the Muggles. We want supremacy. He wants supremacy. Clearly, Wizard Hitler. Like I said, wouldn't it be kind of cool if he ends up actually influencing Hitler? Wouldn't that be something, right? Because the series, the Fantastic Beasts series, are supposed to take place over the span of like 50 years, I think. Like there's something in there where, you know, I mean, they even screwed up their own canon for how old McGonagall was in Crimes of Grindelwald. You know, they screwed up the canon on that one because I think they made her like 20 years older than she was in Crimes. Let's see here. Have I heard of the Coromon Strike series? I haven't heard of that one. Garrick, I'm not a big fan of the guy, but I don't really want to get into politics right now. So there's that. Again, you guys can call in 818-350-3281, or I had dropped the link, people to come on into the show. I guess not. So we'll probably end it here in a few minutes. Let's see here. You wish someone else would direct Fantastic Beasts. We've had enough of David Yates. I completely agree. I mean, look, that was why we had two with Chris Columbus, and then they gave us, God, who the fuck did the third movie? I'm trying to remember the guy's name right now. It was, I know it. He did Children of Men. He's a good director. And they went totally tonally different on directing. And I don't even remember who did number 4, but Yates took over 5, 6, 7, 8, Fantastic Beasts 1 and 2, and clearly number 3. And he'll probably do 4 and 5 for just continuity's sake. Alfonso Cuarón, thank you very much. Alfonso Cuarón. Totally need that. Yeah, that's who it was. Okay, what are some franchises you think deserve the movie treatment that are very underrated? That deserve the movie treatment that are underrated. Are we talking books? Or are we just talking like, you know, TV shows that should be a movie? I don't even know at this point if TV shows should be a movie. You know, like there's no real point for that. You know, you figured The Simpsons did pretty well because the movie came out during, I think it's like its 17th season or something, and it was still relevant at the time. I would like to see. I'll put it to you like this: I actually don't want to see book series turned in to movies. I really don't. I really have no desire for that. Simply because they always get it wrong. They always just get it wrong. They flat out just cannot, for the damn life of them, get it right. With a movie, it's too truncated. Look at the Dark Tower movie with what's his name, Idris Elba, right? Hold on. So we got a guest here. Hey, what's going on, Josh? How you doing, man?
Hey, how's it going?
That's going okay. Thanks for coming on in. I was dropping the link, and
no one's coming in.
No one's coming in. I mean, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna shame anyone specifically. So you know, there's that. I just got a random text message. Someone's like, I know you from Facebook. And I'm like, okay. It's kind of weird. I get some weird ones every once in a while. But anyway, so just real quick though, side note, if you guys haven't checked the channel today, the main channel today, you should, because Josh and I here last night did the Podio commentary.
Oh yeah.
For Freddy versus Jason. So if you've seen Freddy versus Jason and you want to hear us discuss the movie for it was about 45 minutes.
Yeah, give or take.
Yeah, about 45 minutes. It was definitely a lot of fun to do. And we go through a lot of the movie, and we're going to probably do more here pretty soon because those are always good times. So check that out on the channel. Let's see here. Oh, here's one. Safety Zoom says World War Z is apparently a really good book. It's an amazing book, and it should
I've heard that. Yeah,
it should be a TV series because of how the book is structured. So let me break it down like this. The book, okay, we have to kind of go back. So you have to go back to the Zombie Survival Guide first, and the reason why is because during the Zombie Survival Guide, you get a whole bunch of these isolated incidences involving people and how they survived the zombie outbreak. And one of them is really cool where you see it's in like South Central LA. There was a zombie that ended up in the ocean and ended up in the sewer system, and it made its way to South Central into like low income gang territory. And it started attacking gang members. Well, and then it started also feeding on other people and turning other people into zombies. So the gang members did the only thing they could think of. They ran to the middle school and they barricaded themselves in the middle school because of it's like a fortress. So they're in there trying to survive and they're trying to get a hold of the cops. And this is before anyone knew what zombies were. So they're trying to get into the cops and the cops show up and they basically arrest all the guys because they get there and there's all these dead people around the middle school and they think the gang members shot and killed them all. And it's like, little stories like that. And so what Max Brooks did is he took that concept and he pushed it to a global scale in World War Z. What it is it's about a journalist who is chronicling the experiences of other people in different positions of power, in different life experiences and how they survived. So, and you want to listen to the audiobook more than you want to read the book. And there's pros and cons to that. The pro is the voice acting. This is Max Brooks, Mel Brooks' son. So in this novel, in this audiobook, he gets the voice talents of like Rob Reiner.
Oh shit.
And Alan Arkin and Henry Rollins, who has my personal favorite story in that whole thing. He's a security guard, essentially protecting a Paris Hilton-like character. And all the craziness that goes down with that. And Mark Hamill actually is one of the voices. Mark Hamill plays a soldier who survived the Battle of Yonkers. The Battle of Yonkers is actually what honest to God, the movie should have been the Battle of Yonkers. It would have been so cool to have it referenced in there because what it was is when coming off of New York, all the zombies in New York City, they started traveling to Yonkers. And there's apparently this like long throughway or something they could do. And so the military sets up on the other side, and we're talking like 5,000 to 10,000 of these fuckers, like a huge horde, are coming at them. And the military is opening fire, and they've all got their advanced technology, right? They got all the advanced tech, like the smart bombs, you name it, they've got it, but it's totally ineffective because they don't know what they're fighting. And so it's just Mark Hamill describing the horror of watching this slow, shambling army and our weapons doing very little. Like they napalm it. And these things are just walking through the napalm, like on fire, And so you get cool stories like that, or you get one about a woman who is a pilot, she was like a small like duster pilot. She was sending supplies back and forth, and she crashed in like the Louisiana swamps, and she is trying to survive. She's on her own in the swamps, zombies everywhere, and there's a woman on the radio that's calling, that she's talking to, that's kind of leading her towards like safety. And it's just her journey to get there. It's really good. So the World War Z book is just full of those kind of stories.
Yeah, now I really wish they had done something like that with the movie. Like the movie was okay, but it wasn't very interesting.
Yeah. Well, the movie, I saw the movie when it first came out because same. I wish it would have released on its original release date. You know what it was, right?
No, I don't.
It was December 21st, 2012. The end of the world. Interestingly enough, my girlfriend and I's anniversary is December 21st. So that was our 4th anniversary was when 2012 happened. And we're just all like, well, we could die. It's been a fun ride. But no, they were originally going to have World War Z come out then and right before Christmas, but they pushed it back to June. And here's the thing with World War Z. It made $500 million.
It did, yeah. It
made $500 million. We should do a Podio commentary on this because it's interesting. The production of this film, and it made $500 million. The reviews are okay on it, but it still did $500 million. And yet here it's been 7 years, and this sequel has yet to materialize
because no one's interested in it.
Well,
a sequel to the movie.
Yeah, Gungan Dungeon here says, wasn't there supposed to be a sequel ages ago, or did that already happen? No. It wasn't even going to be a sequel. They're not even going to do a sequel to it. You know what they're going to do is it's a kind of a reboot. Because if you watch the movie, they kind of cure zombies in the movie.
Kinda, yeah.
Wasn't
the daughter like immune? Or
no,
like
it wasn't. It wasn't. I don't think there was a daughter was immune. It was like they needed to find a cure for like the common cold. basically. Or no, they needed people to get sick, I think. Like they had to give them the cold. That's what it was. But what I will say this though, even though that third act was like a little bit on the side, and it was written by Damon Lindelof, which is pretty funny that they brought him in to save it, and this is what he came up with. But I give the movie credit because what happened is they took it from this macro scale. You know, like the scene when they're flying over, I think, to Jerusalem, and you look down and like a nuclear bomb goes off in North Korea. Right. And like, because there's a nuke. So at one point a nuke goes off and you just see the mushroom cloud. And to me, that's like that's a macro level event. Like you're looking at like the world globally in that moment. And then the Jerusalem scene is like pretty wicked. And then after that, it goes to this micro, it finishes up in this micro event where you've got this one location that's the World Health Organization office, which given everything going on right now and how they've been losing financing, that's kind of funny.
I know. It's really funny to actually think that they have the Who in that movie.
Yeah. Well, and that was funny too. Yeah. And then it was, but also Peter Capaldi was in that scene too. So they did that. And then like the movie kind of ended and you're like, okay, there's like nothing more. I was disappointed when I saw the movie because I'm such a big fan of the audiobook. And like I told you before, one of my favorite memories of all time was Comic-Con, George A. Romero being interviewed for an hour by Max Brooks. And like just those two dudes, like iconic zombie creators talking zombies. It was so cool to see. So there's, I really wish they would do more of that with these movies. Like I'd love to see them just adapt World War Z into a television show. But who knows?
There are a lot of movies that could benefit from the television show format. One of which obviously is Harry Potter. I think that series would benefit much better from a television series than the movies did. Though the movies are very good themselves, they just left out basically half of the entire story altogether.
Yeah, I'm 100% on board with HBO Max doing an adaptation of Harry Potter. And I do believe that with the 23 being literally a year and a half from now, that they'll probably announce that they're going to be doing an adaptation of it. It just seems to make sense.
I believe it. I wouldn't mind. I've been wanting that for a long time.
I think a lot of people that's a way to go. Well, we need to keep people, into HBO Max. So why don't we just do a 10 or a 7 season Harry Potter adaptation where, oh, hey, we'll give you fuckers Peeves. You fuckers want Peeves? You want more nearly headless Nick? Like, because they totally wrote out Peeves, man.
And they had concept art too.
Yeah, well, from my understanding, and I saw, and I have to, like, I don't know where you'd be able to find it, but apparently, while filming The Chamber of Secrets, they shot Nearly Headless Nick's death day scene. They shot that scene.
Oh, nice.
And I saw that in an interview, but it never made it in the movie. And I'm like, I get why it never made it in the movie. I understand that. But when you've got John Cleese as Nearly Headless Nick, and you don't even have that exchange with him at the end of Order of the Phoenix when Sirius dies and Harry goes to Nick, that was such a heart-wrenching scene. Such a gut-wrenching scene too. Because like he's just like, why isn't Sirius back? It's like, well, he just didn't make that choice. And it's like he chose to go and he chose not to stay. And I'm like, yeah, no, I get that. I totally get that. But it was such like this, this thing where you kind of realize at that point within death, you have a choice. And that was interesting. That was very fascinating that they never explored that further, especially with like Dumbledore, like having died. Why didn't he stick around in order to like still gain wisdom and to still instruct people and then to still fight Voldemort? I don't know. That was one of those things where you're like Voldemort or Dumbledore should have done that. But anyway, I would be totally on board with that being a reality. Also here, Garrick asks, best Roland Emmerich disaster movie. The day after tomorrow for me.
Thank you. Yes,
I love that movie. I don't know why people hate that movie. It's a good movie.
It's a great movie.
It's a really funny movie. I say funny, but it's not. I mean, just because it's Jake Gyllenhaal, like Dennis Quaid's like, I got to get to my boy. Well, it's funny because when everything freezes over and all the Americans are trying to rush into Mexico, and Mexico's like, no, we're shutting the border down, build a wall. That was pretty good. I also enjoyed Independence Day, the first one, quite a bit. I love that movie. But I will say, Independence Day Resurgence, I kind of liked it.
It's a great bad movie.
You can totally tell it was made for international audiences, but I did feel that Liam Hemsworth actually brought something to the role. And I liked his interactions with Jeff Goldblum. Plus Brent Spiner coming back after all those years. And then we find out that he's gay and like his boyfriend hung out with him for 20 years. That was crazy. That was crazy. I was like, oh, wow, that's really sweet, man. That dude really loves a dick. Yeah. So then, of course, 2012 I like as well. Because I just enjoy watching, destruction porn with Roland Emmerich.
Oh, yeah. It's great. It's great.
What's the last movie he even... Oh, he did Midway. I haven't seen Midway yet.
I haven't either. See, Garrett, I'm going back up, scrolling back up. Garrick asks, Ready Player One sequel when? Never, because that was a one-hit wonder. It's one book, and the movie was just okay.
I disagree with you about the movie. I adore the film. I adore that movie. But then again, I grew up in the 80s. And I grew up in the 90s, and though it's like the little audio cues, the little things Spielberg brought to that movie, in my mind, is why I love it as much as I do. Like when they get the Zemeckis cube, and then like as soon as they get it, you hear like, or when he uses it, you hear the jingle from Back to the Future. Just the little things they put into that movie. I've watched that movie a bunch. I fucking love it. But yeah, I don't know if they should do Ready Player 2. I know Ernie Klein is apparently working on it. At this point,
Lord.
I'm just waiting for Armada to get greenlit as a movie. But that book was like, I couldn't finish it. I got bored.
Yeah. Okay. So, first of all, I'm going to go back to Ready Player One. The movie visually is fucking fantastic. The thing that I couldn't get behind was the story. I thought the story was a bit fast paced for what we got.
No, it totally was. But if you've read the book, it makes absolute sense.
Yeah, I mean,
because Wade spent the entire book by himself.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that. Like, I didn't want him to meet Artemis like the way he did in the movie. I wanted them to meet at the end. I feel like there would have been a greater emotional resonance.
Yeah.
But this is a movie. It's a movie adaptation. The hero and heroine
for the time run. It was like, an okay story.
Just imagine though if they would have spent all that time of Wade in the IOI Center, and like,
dude, that would have been awesome.
That would have been cool. But they would have had to shrink that scene down so goddamn much. I think Ben Mendelsohn was a weak point in the movie for me. I don't feel he was as good of a villain as he could have been. When I was reading Ready Player One, that character, whose name I forget right now, but I felt that Wesley from Daredevil season 1 would have been a better actor for that role.
Ooh, yeah. Okay,
because
now I can see that. Yeah.
That guy was like straight up villain, right? Very, very cold, very calculated, very, and I'm like, he would have been really good for that. I just cannot remember his goddamn name. But I like Ben Mendelsohn. He was great as Talos, and I loved him as Krennic in Rogue One. I just felt he was kind of underutilized there. But overall, Ready Player One for me, it worked. It fired on all cylinders for me, even though they altered how they got the first key. Like, oh, I have to go backwards. Bill and Ted did it. Oh, okay. Like, no one thought to go backwards during all this time, but people criticize that to an extent. However, if you've ever played a fucking video game and you get to that point where you just have to like double jump at the right space, because remember how unforgiving Mario was and all those platformers from back in the day.
Yeah,
that race sequence when they were going up against Kong, that was definitely. That was awesome because that was all Universal, by the way, at that point in time. Yeah. That whole thing. Did you ever catch the Last Action Hero reference?
Yes, I did.
Jack Slater 4. Yeah. I was like, yes, total Last Action Hero reference, and that scene was awesome. But I loved, again, the idea there is that gamers will hone in on something and then derive. But I do feel that someone would have probably gone backwards at some point just to go, because the gamers are also like completely, I don't want to use the term like super autism, but they get really dedicated. They get, and some of them get real into it, and you can't ever, so they would try everything that they could. There'd be cheaters, there'd be hackers. So the fact it took 5 years to like figure out just to go backwards.
Yeah.
Didn't make a lot of sense. And I also did, like when that reference to Bill and Ted going backwards, is that just going backwards in time? Or did they ever drive backwards in the movie? I forget.
I can't remember either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Ready Player One's definitely another one that I think could benefit from the television format. Though the final battle at the castle probably won't ever compare in a television show to the movie, because I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, because I mean, like in the final battle, you know, the fact that they had Godzilla in there was great.
Mecha Godzilla.
Yeah, but then they changed out
they changed out
Ultraman for a Gundam,
which I'm fine with.
Which it was because that was two Gundams were coming out. Like you had Gundam in Ready Player One and Gundam in Pacific Rim Uprising. Like they had a Gundam was one of the mechs in Pacific Rim Uprising.
Really?
Yeah. So so people were thinking like a Gundam movie was coming on the horizon as a result of all that. But at the meantime, you have these situations where, I mean, the final battle of Ready Player One I loved, because I loved like, you know, the group of like Master Chiefs running, right?
Fuck,
the squad of Master Chiefs. Yeah. Oh, fuck, it's Chucky. That was great too. Oh no, it's fucking Chucky. I think it was a line. It said it's fucking Chucky. And then just having that, I don't know if they got Brad Dourif to like, you know, do the laugh or whatever, but just again, the little things that they got the licensing to.
Yeah.
You know, and it was Warner. So Warner's already has a number of licenses. Like, you know, when you see like Goro from Mortal Kombat or the Ninja Turtles or fucking Hello Kitty.
Yeah.
There's so many little things that ended up being
details
in the back of this movie that make it infinitely rewatchable. And I adore it. I've always adored it. I love the book. Even though I'm not a big Will Wheaton fan and I listened to the audiobook.
Yeah, I got the audio.
So, but I still like it better than Armada. If you guys don't know what Armada is.
Oh boy. Yeah.
If you don't know what Armada is, it's not bad. It's just like, it
doubles down on the sci-fi hard.
Yeah, it doubles down on it. And it's like, it makes you think one thing when really something else is happening entirely. And I know the ending of, I know the big twist because I asked my friend. I was like, I'm not going to finish the book. Just tell me the twist.
Do we want to talk spoilers?
No, people here haven't seen it or haven't read it yet.
Okay.
So it's fine. But I will say this, though. I will say this. In the beginning of Armada, because Armada takes place in the town I grew up in.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So in the beginning of Armada, he's in Beaverton, Oregon. Right outside of Portland. That's where I was living when before I moved up here. I was living back in Beaverton, but I also grew up in Tigard, which is the next town over. But I had for a time lived in Beaverton. Anyway. He mentions Malibu Grand Prix racing. And that's the defunct arcade at this point, as far as I know. But there was one in Tigard. There was one right there in Tigard next to Beaverton, next to the mall. And he mentioned it in the book. And I was all like, wait, motherfucker, did you grow up there? Like, did you grow up in, you know? And then he's from like Iowa or some shit, you know? But like, apparently he just randomly happened to find this Malibu Grand Prix reference somewhere. He must have seen it at some point when he was a kid, but they said it in Portland, and that was awesome because I love things when they're set in Oregon.
Yeah.
And so for me, that kind of hooked me in, and I love the concept of it, but just the twist. I called the twist too.
I've only read it twice. The first time I read it all the way through, didn't know anything about it. I thought it was okay. After I finished it, read it the second time, I got like 30 minutes till the end. I'm like, okay, I'm done with it. I'm bored with this already. And the ending wasn't as appealing to me as I thought it would be second time.
No, I mean, like again, like I realized the whole dad thing, like right off the bat. I'm like, oh
yeah, you know? I knew that was going to happen.
But it's also like given Ernie Klein's self-indulgence for references, you know, you could kind of tell like, oh, okay. You know, this is clearly like Space Invaders. This is clearly this. It's clearly he's remaking The Last Starfighter. Yeah, that's basically what it is.
Yeah.
You know. But anyway, let's get to some of the questions here, Sarah. So I want to get to here. All right. Let's see. Garrick says the shining scene in Ready Player One was great. I loved it down to the music. It was the fact they recreate it's so good. I love that shit.
Oh yeah.
All right. Okay. How many references are there in total in Ready Player One? There's a lot of references.
Ready Player One, the entire movie.
You might be able to find videos that break it down. Safety Zoom here asks thoughts on the Ethan Klein stuff this week. He's got stuff he does need to answer for, but everything that happened absolutely gave him an out. So there's that.
Ethan Klein?
H3 Productions on YouTube. Yeah. Okay. Anthony here says thoughts on SDCC being canceled.
I mean, everything else is being canceled this year, so why not?
Well, I'm pissed because it would have been my 20th time. My first time going was in July of 2000. I just moved to San Diego. I didn't even know that Comic-Con was a thing. I was driving to get a pack of cigarettes. I see a city bus. It's all like San Diego Comic-Con, like this weekend. And I'm all like, the fuck is that thing? So I go online. I'm like, oh, that's cool. How do I get into this thing? Back then it was a lot easier to get in.
I bet.
So I printed up a business card. It's how I got into E3 that year too.
Oh, nice.
I faked it. Oh yeah, dude, I faked into everything.
Oh shit, nice.
Until I fake it till you make it. And now I'm legit. Now I'm like, I'm an LLC, bitch. Here's my paperwork. Get me into anything. So, but anyway, I just went down there with a business card that I made on like Microsoft Word and cut out and pasted to a blank piece of cardstock. It wasn't even like real cards. It wasn't even a real business card. It was a fake one. Nice. And I'm like, hi, I write for sspin.com, which I did. That was real. But people thought it was spin.com. That was the thing. The guy who made it, his name was Quentin. Quentin had made this company called sspin.com. And I think it was done on purpose to make people think it was spin.com. Because keep in mind, back when it came to the internet shit back in the early 2000s, everyone was dumb. Yeah. Everyone was dumb. So there's that. And anyway, so yeah, I went down there and I just handed them a business card and they gave me a 4-day pass. And then I think I took like my sister and she was like, this is 2000. She was born in 91. So she was like 8, almost 9. So I took her with me and I got a child's pass. I took my brother with me the next day. And then I felt bad because my brother never asked to go again from 2000 until 2019. I knew he wanted to go. I was always really busy when I went. It was like, that's a big week for me. Yeah. But he'd never said, can you get me in? And then this year I was like, they gave me 2 passes this last year. They're like, oh, you're qualified for 2 passes. And so I hit him up. I'm like, hey dude, you want to come with me to con? And he's like, oh, hell yeah, man. So like, that was dope. Cause he came and picked me up in LA when I was at VidCon. We went to Disneyland. We went to Galaxy's Edge for the day, hung out there, and then chilled out in SD for a couple of days. And then we did Comic-Con for the weekend. And that was a lot of fun. I miss my brother. He's a really good guy. So, so yeah, there's all like, anyway, I'm bummed because I was going to take my brother again. It's when I get to go back to San Diego and I get to see my friends and I get to like, spend a week in the city I want to retire in. I get to spend a week in the town I want to go back to. And I love going back to San Diego. San Diego is amazing. It's so beautiful. It's so great. I wish I was there all the time. If I could afford it and I could get my kids there, I would totally do it. If you've never lived in San Diego, you don't know what I'm talking about, but it's like being 20 minutes from the beach and not just one beach, but like 4 or 5 beaches, all with their own different feel. You're like, hey man, I want to go to Coronado and hang out on the North Island beach. Cool. I'm going to drive to an island and I'm going to go park and it's going to be, very chill, very quiet. I can hang and have a bonfire. Maybe I want to go to a nude beach. There's one of those there too. Black's Beach. I've done it, by the way. I went to a nude beach. Nice. I did not get naked for longer than 30 seconds. I was like, I'm going to try it. And then I made the mistake of like, it was really beautiful. So I was like, oh, I'm going to take some scenic photography. Never pull a camera out, by the way, at a nude beach. Even if your intentions are 100% pure, people don't like it, as I learned the hard way. And I bet there's like Mission Beach, Pacific Beach. I mean, there's so many beaches in San Diego and they're all distinctly different, and it's just like, I miss fucking San Diego so much. So here's the thing. If you guys want to help me get back to San Diego, become a channel member, donate to the Patreon. Do it. Get me back there. Yeah. That's my goal. That's my goal, is to get down to San Diego more often. Okay, let's see here. All right. Keep your fingers crossed for Celebration Anaheim. Ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. If they're not allowing big gatherings until the beginning of August in California, but they're banning concerts until fall 2021. Yeah, it's not going to happen, which is unfortunate. I think I get it. Yeah. Who's hotter, Jennifer Connelly or Elizabeth Hurley? Wait, hold on though. Are we talking like career opportunity Jennifer Connelly and Austin Powers Elizabeth Hurley, or now? Because Fox News loves to report on Elizabeth Hurley's Instagram posts where she's in a bikini. I'm not making that up. They love to report on that. Like you check Fox News's website and they're just all like, Elizabeth Hurley is a bombshell at the age of 50 in a bikini shot on Instagram. I'm all like, stop. I can only get so erect. Anyway, Safety Zoom here says, do you think we should drop quarantine or push it out for another month? Push it out for another month, man. I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Oh, hell yeah. I think Texas government said that they were going to be ending quarantine sometime this week or next week. And everyone that I know is like, fuck that, push it another month out.
Well, I mean, so tonight, for example, so yesterday in Olympia, they had this big protest. And it was like about 1,000 people at the state capitol building.
Oh God.
And they're all right wingers. So, you know that, right? So anyway, today one of my first orders, I'm delivering Buffalo Wild Wings to the governor's mansion.
Oh, what?
And yeah, because I deliver food. And so like one of the guys guarding the governor's mansion, was who ordered some Buffalo Wild Wings. So I go over there and I give him the food and I'm like, I drive right past where everything was yesterday. And I'm like, hey, so how crazy was it yesterday? And like, it was like, it was nothing really. Like about 1,000 people showed up and I'm all like, too bad you can't quarantine, stupid. And they're all like, yeah, no shit. It was, right. And then I'm all like, did you ever think about just like firing pepper spray into the crowd? And they're all like, they start laughing. And I'm all like, I don't mean to kill them, but like you want them to disperse, right? You want that social distancing. You just got to kind of wound them a little bit, just spritz it. I'm like, next time, don't hesitate, dude. Just unleash the fire hoses on those guys. And I'm like, and they're cracking up laughing. I'm like, I don't know if you should be laughing at like this while you're both holding like guns. So enjoy your buffalo, have yourself a great evening, and I'm going to take off. But
kill him with fire.
That's pretty funny. Let's see here. Georgia wants to reopen theaters and restaurants to open next week. Yeah, but are people going to go? Are theater employees going to want to put themselves in risk? That's the thing you have to ask yourself there too. Is like the government can sit there, the local government can sit there and say, yeah, we want theaters reopen. As a movie fanatic, yeah, I want theaters reopen. I want to go see a movie. I want to get out of my house and go sit down in a dark auditorium and watch a movie, sure. But you can't do it right here. You can't do it right now.
I would love for the resurgence of drive-in theaters to come back in this time.
And I am the person to talk to about that, as evidenced by my own.
As we all know, yes,
and I'd like to bring that up too.
Every time, yeah,
every time. Goddamn right. I need to establish the dominance in the conversation, Josh.
You're T-posing. You're T-posing.
But anyway, no, fuck you. I do think that drive-ins should make a comeback, and I say that because for one, you get the social distancing. You're in your car. Yeah. It's outside. It's summertime. People don't want to feel cooped up in the summertime. That's going to make them go stir crazy more than the winter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you know what? There's still a lot of movies that they could pull from. There's a lot. They could probably get them for a lot cheaper from Hollywood right now. And like I said at the beginning of the episode, only one movie theater was open in the States this weekend. And that was one drive-in in Florida. That was it. Like that was the last drive-in. Like that should be its own documentary. And
actually, there's a drive-in like an hour and a half away from where I am. I don't know if it's still running, but I know it's there.
Yeah. But I mean, the one that that I worked at still there, but they just can't be open. They're deemed non-essential. I would disagree. I would disagree about them being considered non-essential. I think that having there's a drive-in not far from me. I think it should be open. I think you should be allowed to go and you have to sit in your car. No chairs outside.
Yeah.
No getting outside. The concession stand won't be open.
Bring your own food.
Yeah, bring your own food. Things along those lines. Like just do that. And but still give people something to go and do. So, and I've been noticing today as I'm out doing my deliveries tonight, like I drive by this park at the waterfront. And there are fucking people there.
Really?
And yeah, they're like, these two girls are like sitting there like 2 feet from each other, like, and they're on their phones, like giggling. I mean, the thing is they're friends. They're all friends. They're family. People are hanging out together. But you see someone else you don't know. It's like you cross the fucking street. And that's the funny thing too, is like, you don't know if your friends, you don't know what they've been up to. Right. You don't know. Yeah. This could be like the AIDS plague from the early 1980s. You don't know who's got it. It could be anywhere.
Oh God, yeah.
It could be anywhere. And I don't mean to minimize that tragic experience. I really don't. The joke here is that it's like you don't know who's carrying. But as safety does ask the question, anyone here have or know someone who's had the sea bug? I personally don't, but there's only been in my county like 100 cases.
Yeah, I don't know
one
anyone
death.
personally either.
Yeah. So I don't know, but and Griefer here says I've known several people who've had it. Okay, so there's that one. Let's see here. Garrick says there's nothing to see. Everything's been delayed. Well, there's other movies that were out. You know, they could put Trolls World Tour in. I'm sure kids would want to go see that. You know, they've already rented it. Apparently, it was a big success. And there's a lot of other there's a lot of other things that went with it too. So I mean, there's things you could do. I would like to see the theaters reopen. I'd love to see restaurants reopen. I'd love to see people get back to work, you know, and I'm talking to a lot of these employees when I'm going and I'm doing deliveries, and they love the fact that there's no one there. They don't have to serve customers, but they also are like, I mean, if I don't serve customers, there's like really no, you know, there's like, we're all losing hours.
Yeah.
Because there's like not a big reason, and, you know, unemployment's off the charts. Apparently I can file because I do YouTube. I don't know. I haven't done it yet. I need to before all the money runs out. But yeah, so I mean, these people are like, you know, filing for unemployment, and they're all worried about it. And so they're not thinking about movies. They're not really thinking about video games. You know, a lot of people, I think, I've noticed that like mobile viewing of YouTube is down because people aren't leaving the house.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not a lot of that's going on. And, you know, that's kind of one of the reasons why like Quibi, I think, is taking a hit right now.
Yeah.
By the way, if any of you get that free trial for Quibi, check out Dummy, because I want people to talk about it with. God damn it. I did a review of it today, because after we were done recording last night, I laid in bed and I watched like the first 3 episodes, which is basically Anna Kendrick finds her boyfriend's sex doll.
What?
Yeah. And then the doll comes to life.
Oh my God.
But it's all in her head. It's all in her head. But like they start having conversations. But here's the kicker. Her boyfriend, his name is Dan Harmon. And it's not Dan Harmon. It's the guy it's like that one dude bro from Blade, the friend of Deacon Frost.
Really?
Yes, Donald Logue is his name. He's a great actor. But he's playing Dan Harmon in the show. And that's not a coincidence. It's not like, oh, someone's like, oh, Dan Harmon. No, Dan Harmon in the show co-created Rick and Morty, because it's mentioned in the first episode.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, wait, what the fuck is going on here? The woman who created the show, her fiance is Dan Harmon. And her name is Cody, and the main character in Dummy is Cody. Anna Kendrick plays Cody. So it's literally just like they took their life and they kind of put it in the show.
Nice.
But they added a sex doll, and apparently things get fucking wild, because I saw a screenshot from maybe another trailer where it showed like both the sex doll, her name is Barbara, and Cody, and they're like covered in blood, like spattered of blood, and like Barbara's got this like what I believe is like the tip of a fleshlight of like the vaginal aspect of it, where it's like it was cut off like a trophy, and they put a necklace around it and then put it around her neck.
Oh my God.
And that was like in a screenshot. I don't want to show, because I don't want to get booted off of Twitch. So I don't want to show it. But I'm looking at this today as I'm trying to find assets to like do my review on. And I'm just going, what the fuck, man? Like now I'm intrigued. I want to know, why does she have the fuckable tip of a fleshlight around her neck, and why is the sex doll and Anna Kendrick, you know, spattered with blood? These are the questions that I have to get answers to.
Yeah. Well, Dan Harmon had a long running podcast, right?
Yeah.
It's called Harmontown. I highly recommend it if you like to listen to Dan Harmon, or if you like his
I'm hit or miss on Harmon. I think he's a bit of a bitch a lot of the time, to be honest with you. Let's see. Astro Dosh here says Quibi is amazing. We'll watch soon. And did you hear that they have shows on Quibi until November? I do. Yeah, they created so much content for Quibi, and I feel like I'm like the only YouTube shill for it right now, you know, because I'm like, it's pretty cool. But my Cash App is at Matt Jarbo. You know, like, I'll take a sponsorship. I have no problem with that. You know, like, oh, do you like to watch Anna Kendrick haul around a sex doll with larger tits than her head? Check out Dummy. Do you like to watch Caitlin Olsen and Will Forte gallivant around Mexico as they work for cartels as they redesign their homes? Watch Flipped Everything else is terrible. I haven't seen everything else yet, but there's it's like it's they have a lot of content. People are going to check it out, I think. Let's see. Dan Harmon also wrote Monster House. I thought he co-wrote that, but that's
Yeah, he co-wrote that.
Yeah. Let's see here. Did I watch Rabid? Great. I don't even know what Rabid is, Anthony. I saw you post that today on the in the Facebook. Let's see. Josh here says 50 States of Fright is good. Yeah, I want to see it. What I don't like about Quibi is really what I don't like is like the new episodes daily, because you can't build a routine.
Mm-hmm.
And so how do you? I know the design is water cooler. I get that. On the way to work in the morning, you watch 50 States of Fright, or whatever, and then you get there and you're like, "Hey, bro, did you watch Quibi this morning? Like, you got to fucking go watch that, dude. I'm gonna go take a shit, bro. Yeah, all right, man, give me a minute." And you go and you watch it. You're on the fucking toilet. Come back. Oh, bro. Yeah, it was good, bro. I don't know why they're bros, but that's the aspect that that's the whole point, is they want to make it quick and accessible. So you can watch it and then be in on the conversation, but then the next day keep going with it. That gets old after a while.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
It really does. If you start really thinking about how we as people, you start like let's say you're talking about a TV show, like let's say Mandalorian. When that show dropped, man, like every week my reviews on that would do gangbusters.
Mm-hmm.
Would do great views, and everyone was talking about Mandalorian, and everyone liked talking about it over the course of the week. But if it was every day, it gets old. Like right now, there's this big thing for the Snyder Cut. Like anti-Snyder Cut people have been like talking about it like nonstop for the past week. I'm like, why? There's like no new information.
Yeah.
It's like no new information. You all sound like old angry men yelling at clouds right now, but that's what they're talking about. And people are like, going, "Oh no, this is boring. Stop talking about it." Because nothing new. So it's just, you have to weigh how content is distributed. And I know that they've got so much content coming down the pipeline that they probably are thinking that they're okay until November. And that's a long way to go for literally new episodes.
Every day. Yeah.
Every day of multiple shows. And so, it's hard to keep up with. I'm just not a big fan of that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, did you hear about the this idiot who got arrested breaking into Disney World or Disneyland?
Yeah, he tried checking out the Avengers campus. And I'm like, well, did you get any footage? I don't care if you got arrested. I want to know if you got any damn footage.
I'll pay you for the footage.
Like, I just want to see what's going on in that bitch, because they were supposed to open up in July, and I was going to like really try to sweet talk their PR people to get it on there and be like, "Yo, what's going on? Have I told you look great in that flower print?" No, I'm not trying to hit on you. I just want to get into fucking Avengers Campus. Get into that early. Check that out. Because those are the kind of things, if you want to get big on YouTube, fucking theme parks, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking, like, that shit's like insane.
Oh yeah.
Like just some of those weird, it's not even like a small subculture, but like some of those weirder small subcultures on YouTube do really well. My girlfriend today, she goes like, "Have you ever heard of bullet journaling?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I've heard of it. I haven't checked it out." She's like, "I was watching one of those videos and they do really well." I'm like, "Oh, that's kind of cool." She's like, "Yeah, like people do little drawings. I think there's like ASMR bullet journaling." And I'm like, "Okay, like, did you learn anything about bullet journaling?" "Well, I think so."
Yeah.
It's like those videos get views, but it's just, is it like, are they tied to another gimmick? Like mukbang bullet journaling.
Oh yeah.
Like, watch me eat and then write down what I ate, bullet style.
I love watching mukbang.
If I want to watch people eat, I'll just literally go look in the mirror as I mac down a burrito or something. It's just, I don't understand that, especially when, like, what drives me nuts, the kind of like wrapping around, like, I view John goddamn Campea sometimes as mukbanging, but for water, and not in a good way. Like, I'll be watching him and his mic is turned up so much, he's all like, and then he goes like, all right, he does a,
yeah, I can see.
And
that.
I'm like, dude, fucking turn your head away from the goddamn microphone. What the fuck are you doing? My ears do not want to listen to you smack your lips together over taking a sip of water, or the fact that you are dehydrated. if necessary, do this. Just move the mic.
Yeah. That's
Take
what I
a
do.
drink. You know, now he moved over to the podcasting side of it, right? He moved into the podcasting. So he's like releasing his shows on podcast now. If you want to catch the John Campea show, you can. Do you want to sit there for an hour and listen to a 40-year-old man read super chats? No. Let's see here. Garrick says you can make videos hating on Disney Star Wars. Yeah, I've made my money on that front.
Yeah.
Have you seen any videos from the channel I Hate Everything? I have. I disagree with him on a number of issues, but I do like his content.
Yeah. Makes good content.
Brian here asks, what do you think of that article I sent you today about the guy who broke into the Avengers campus? Well, we were just talking about that.
Yeah, we just talked about
And I think it's funny. I just want to see what footage you got. And I mean, like, that's the whole, like, you know, what I want. Now, fuck that. I'll tell you what I want, man. I want someone to break into Galactic Star Cruiser. I want to see what's happening there. Like, make no mistake. I will shill and put out my cup and I will jingle it like, you know, like a dude on the street who just wants to get that next hit of meth. And I'll be like, yo, get me to Florida, man. Get me to Florida, man. Just get me in there, man. Just get me to Galactic Star Cruiser. Let me play with the Jedi. Like, sure, you're 40. I don't care, man. I'll suck your dick. That is not a 32-inch TV. Oh, fuck it. Hold on. I want to get your guys' opinion on this one.
Wait, what?
This is something that came from from my Facebook group to show you the kind of things apparently we talk about in the Facebook group. So Anthony here posts this this image today about. Hold on, I gotta find it. He posts this image. All right, I'm going to. Hold on. I'll just move the image into a new tab. Okay. Let me just. Okay, hold on here. Sorry, I want to get your guys' opinion on this one about whether or not this is a 32-inch TV, because I don't believe that I don't believe this is the 32-inch TV. Look at the size of that fan.
That is not a 32-inch.
That is not a 32-inch TV. That is like I asked you earlier, Anthony, if this was a Samsung, you know, QLED 65-inch curved, and he said yes, and then he's like, no, but it's 32 inches. That is a huge TV.
Here, let me check my TV.
My TV is 49 inches, and it's not as big as that TV. Thankfully, my dick is 65 inches, so I know how long it goes. I am kidding. I'm Canadian. It's in centimeters. No. It's definitely not a 32-inch TV. That's so bigger than a 32-inch TV. My
TV is 32-inch.
My monitor that I'm on right now is 37 inches, and it is smaller than that. It's a curved Samsung monitor, 37 inches, and it's smaller than that TV.
Yeah, my TV is 32 inches and it's smaller.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you what. Here's what you do. I want you to box it up. Okay, very carefully, very gently. I want you to mail it to me, and then I will totally look at the size of it, and I will let you know how big it is.
And then I'll just keep it.
And then I can't guarantee it will make its way back to you, because that seems irresponsible to send that big of an item on a return trip. So you can my P.O. box, if you want that, I will send you my P.O. box. It's perfect. And he says, it's my mom and my stepdad TV, and it's Samsung. Oh, no. I get that. I totally get that. Again, I'm willing to give it a first-hand inspection. Just my P.O. box. I will send it to you. You send that TV to me. Your parents will understand. Random guy on the internet needs to check out the TV. Maybe it's out of warranty. Maybe not. If it is out of warranty, I'm going to have to keep it. It's just a legal issue. How you measure that is actually going from corner to corner, sideways, because it doesn't go widthways. Companies don't go widthways. Yeah,
they go from edge corner to edge corner.
It's all diagonal.
Yeah. Which
so
weird, but whatever.
Anyway, my PO box. I'll totally give that to you. There's that. But okay, guys. So we've been on for about an hour and a half. I'm gonna definitely log off here in a second because I want to keep these a little bit on the shorter side. But this has been a lot of fun. So I'll be back on tomorrow night. I'll post probably a couple of these clips on the main channel tomorrow just to spur some interest. And there's really not much else going on. And be sure to go check out Podio commentary between Josh and I. It's a good episode, 44 minutes. If you've seen Freddy vs. Jason, you might like it.
Yeah, do it.
And because I listened to it again today, and it was intriguing. I also like the sound of my own voice, so there's that.
Narcissism.
Well, it's hey man, like whatever gets you off, literally. So there's that. But anyway, guys, thank you again so much for coming on by. Be sure to check out the replay of this if you came in late over on Hollywood After Dark on YouTube. And peace out.